Good morning, everyone, and a happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to work on random things because I'm kind of having. But hey, that's the nature of the world, right? It's always something. So, we're going to do that right after this. Computer. Lights. Okay, good morning. Looks like everything's running the way it should be running, and that's awesome. Good to see you. Today's show is brought to you by Diane von Furstenberg, who says you are the one that possesses the keys to your being. You carry the passport to your own happiness. I kind of like that quote. It seems very pleasant, like empowering. We all are in charge of ourselves. All right. I was going to work over there, but man. I'm having sort of a focus problem today. I really am. I'm really finding it difficult to focus. And sometimes you just have days like this where it's difficult to buckle down. It's difficult to get started on things. So I was going to work on Airship 27's project. But honestly, I'm not feeling very focused in on things. So I was thinking I might just paint. And just do a painting and kind of get that kind of moving through the system here. And we'll create a new painting here. That's what I think I will do. So I think I will just paint. I feel like just being free form and painting. So let's do that. There we go. So we're going to work with Photoshop. I don't usually. I've been having problems with Photoshop these days, but it seems to be somewhat stable now. I'm not sure why or what was going on or what was the story. But let's go through here and let's just take a look at some of the stuff that maybe I have snagged off of the internets, and we can just practice something. That sounds like a thing. A lot of times I will be out on Instagram, and I'll see something that really is intriguing, a good pose or a good drawing or something that's really cleverly done, and I will just screen cap the picture because I'm not trying to steal their art. I just want to get a good view of what's going on. What's the style here? How are we doing these things? Just kind of get an idea of how they do it. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna see if I screen captured anything that would be really useful and cool, and we're gonna bring it in and work on it from there, right? Because at the moment I'm just not feeling it. Tomorrow is paint day. I've got a cable that has dropped. I didn't want this cable to drop. Tomorrow is paint day, so we'll be doing painting, and that'll be cool. So it's a thing I'm kind of curious about here. Let's figure this out. Um, we could paint something from Bellatrix Rising. That could be cool. Let's give that a shot maybe at some point. I don't know if I'm ready to do that today or not. I'm just looking through here because there's a lot of things that I have snagged pictures of. And I'm curious as to whether I can't just find a good picture. Wonder if I could paint George. Might be able to paint George. That could be funny. That's kind of a cool car design. I'm just looking through here to see what's kind of going on. What have I snagged? Sometimes I snag artwork from other people, and I think it's awesome. And I snag some good stuff. And then I snag stuff and I'm like, why did I take a picture of this? I have no earthly idea. You know, I don't even know what I was thinking at that point. So, here we are trying to figure this out. We had this really cool picture that I just snapped, and I can't find it now. I mean, literally just snapped it. Of this, these samurai. I wonder where they went. Right, because it was a great picture. And I can't seem to find it. And I'm wondering whether my phone is synchronizing or not anymore. Sometimes it doesn't synchronize. And then I'm like, why didn't you synchronize? Let's see, I'm not seeing it, guys. We had a number of things that were kind of going on here. Not seeing that picture. Where are all the snapshots that I just took? This is me not being very coordinated today. You see how not coordinated we go through here? That's all right. You don't have to have perfect days every day. It's called having a life and being a person. Not every day is going to be a perfect day. Right? Not everything will be perfect. It does make me wonder, though. Where did these pictures go? If I'm snagging all these pictures, where are they going? Because I know I'm taking the pictures. I'm just taking snapshots of things, right? And it should be coming up here somewhere. And I'm not seeing it. Well, this is the zone where I was. But it's not synchronized. Let me see what's going on here on my phone. Because I just snagged it this morning. There we go. We just needed to obviously hit the go button. Bring it up on the phone and have the phone go, oh, yes, we need to go. I knew that. I was just testing you. However, sure, I can just look at them here. So let's go ahead and do, since I can't bring it up here, this is sort of what I was looking at here. This is a great piece. I like this piece a lot. It's interesting. I think they're starting to synchronize over here, but it's going to take it a while, so I'll just use my phone for this. It wants me to copy the text from it. I'm like, I don't want to copy the text from it. Okay, let's take a look here. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to define the shapes, right? Because we're looking at the shapes of things here, and that's what we're after. My chart is over here. Okay. All right, we're going to get a skin tone of some sort. All right, we're just going to take a skin tone and define in our shapes. Right? This is just telling us where things are. Right? The neck. I've always thought, that kind of the bow of the back here. I think it's always kind of interesting. I'm going to do one knee out like this, and the other knee out like that. And she's sitting cross-legged. Right? And just cutting the shape in here. Right? We're just going to cut on the shape here until we get... Yeah, they're calling in the middle of a show. I'm not answering that. Even though it is not, in fact, a... someone who's trying to sell me my car warranty. Okay. Now the other thing we're going to do here is we're going to add a forward arm. So because I want to kind of see where things are, I'm going to put this a little further forward like this. I'm going to put this here, right, like so. We're just going to put in the hand, like that. And all we're doing here is just, we're mimicking sort of the picture here in a lot of ways. Right. And this is totally just roughing it in. Now, in the original picture here, come on, in the original picture, it's hard to see because of the ring. She's turned towards us, so I'm going to mimic that as well. So we're going to take from here, we're going to take from here, we're just going to bring her face more towards us. There we go, more like that. There. So now what we're doing here is just trying to get the rough shape in, right? We're looking at the design here, and I'm looking at things like her hand is too long and stuff like that. And now, some people I've noticed will they'll not just, or they'll move it in using selection tools. At this point in time, I'm just roughing it all in, so I don't really know whether I want selection tools or not. I'm not even really sure what I'm doing, right? So my thought here is that taking sort of this design here, I'm going to put her other shoulder here, and she's going to be writing or drawing like this. So we'll put this arm out like that, right? And this will be her coffee, because coffee is, it's coffee with Guy and sometimes George, right? So she's got her coffee cup right here. There we go. So we're starting to kind of form in this design. I'm kind of going there here. Now, in this, the original drawing over here, she's reading a book. I think she intends to take notes in the book or something. I like the idea that we have like a table or something right here, right? Some kind of low table, like so. Right. I'll go along like this. And that'll be sort of a thing. And this one, she's got a cat over here too. So I'm going to actually put the cat in as well. I'm going to make the cat sort of a gray, because I really do want to kind of be able to kind of see the cat here. Right, so we got a cat looking at her as she's starting to write or something. I don't know what she's doing exactly, but we'll get this all squared away. Right. All right. And now we'll start working on this a little bit more. We've got the rough design in now. So if I were to take this and drop it a little, right, then I can start putting in sort of like the under shadows and stuff like that for this. We'll come back to these things later, but for right now, I mean, we just want to define the shape, sort of get an idea of where everything is, right? Because we've got I actually feel like her arm can go back a little bit more, right? Like this. Move her arm back a little bit more. There we go. We're just roughing it all out now. This is how we're just kind of getting to the point where we think we know where we are, right? If I take, on the original here, we've got white hair, but I find white hair to be kind of interestingly strange. So I'm going to give her black hair. I'm going to mimic this hairstyle. Right. Okay, let's talk about this now. We're going to move in. And now that I feel like I've kind of roughed this in, let's talk about her background. Right, what's in the background? In this instance, she's got sort of a grayish background, like a light blue almost. And actually it's not, it's a cream, which puts it more like here, but maybe just slightly green. I'm going to go through here and just do this. Put this in as the background, right? We're just going to do sort of this kind of critter here. And a lot of rattling going on over here. I'm going to bring this brush up. And he used a big soft for this kind of stuff, and I really like this big painting brush. Right, this big painting brush does some really great stuff, kind of like this, which makes it look more, I think we're kind of going along like so. Right? I'm just going to kind of do that. Just kind of give this the end of the painting over here. And I'm giving sort of the same kind of brush strokes I would give if this was a brush. So I'm going back and forth and back and forth. Okay. Inside here, he's got sort of like a lighter gray, where he's put in sort of the sunlight, right? I actually feel like that's even more to the yellow, like so. I'm gonna put that in here. There's a pattern on the wall behind her. Sunlight's coming in like so. Right? I'll actually go back through there a little later on and fix that. And here she's wearing sort of a black outfit. And that kind of makes me cringe a little. Like, ugh, black. She is wearing black pants, though, and I like black pants. Black pants look good. So we're going to bring the color down quite a bit. We're going to go over here and head into the blue. Grab some of these, I think, blackish pants here. sort of, so. So we're going to now bring this down quite a bit, because we're going to have to come in here and start doing some detail work, like around the outside edge here. Right, I'm going to come in here and okay. Now we're going to do the darkening thing. We're going to put in the dark side. And I'm going to use this big soft, because this big soft brush is great for... Ooh, where are you? Oh, you're an eraser. I do not wish you to be an eraser. There we go. I'll take this big soft here, and we're just going to hit the bottom side of this, like so. Right in the bottom side. This is just helping kind of give shape to everything we've got going on here. Right. So let's go ahead and give her like a light blue shirt. Right. So let's go ahead and go in and bring this brush down. And come around here, and we're just going to be doing this number like this. Right? Well, we're just roughing that in. But while we're at it, let's go ahead and let's fix up this hand, this arm. We're in this smaller brush. We have a better way of getting color out of things now, because things are more detailed. So we can come back around and just cut through there like that. Because this, I don't think she's going to have any part of. This became a big brush, didn't it? I didn't want it to be a big brush. Okay, you didn't help me any. There. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to cut into this. And I'm going to cut to the underside here. And like that. We're just cutting this design in now. And we now know roughly what this is going to look like. Right? We've got this guy here who's kind of looking at her. I'm going to do this. And we'll come back in with a tighter brush here in a minute. On this one, but you can see we're already starting to develop sort of a design here. The other thing is, this arm, though, looks great right here. Doesn't feel like it's that thick right here, right? Now it looks better. Needs to be a little bit thicker here, right? So the other trick that I've learned is to blend with my undercarriage here. So whatever's the color underneath it, you want to kind of blend in here like this. And this helps. You get sort of an 80% run on this. Like this. And when you do a light brush down the middle, that gives us a color that's in between, and we can use that to blend. Right? Because we don't need... There we go. And now we can go on up here, top of her arm, like this, so right up here where the arm kind of comes around the back. And then we're going to take sort of these darker tones. We're going over this. We don't want that much of this pink under here. Her flesh tone's not quite that color. So we're going to kind of go back here and just grab some of this underneath there. And come back around and cut through here. Her arm should only be about that wide, so let's go ahead and cut back like this. And we always operate from our site back, so from what's closest to us back. So I'm going to also, let's give her like a sea green cup, right? Let's go for this sort of sea green, so have it kind of like this. Right, we'll do this. And her finger is into the front of this cup here. And sort of that kind of thing there. Right? Now I feel like I'm getting the colors in pretty good, right? Now we can see sort of where things are going. You can kind of get an idea of what the shape of this drawing is going to be. We can see parts of this drawing that now need to be kind of manipulated more now that we've got more color. We can see what's going on. Like this guy really needs to be pushed to right here. We'll kind of come around here like this. We'll just pick some of this darker color right here and then come underneath here like that. And this guy here, he's going to make this difficult for me to continue this painting. I probably should have put him on a different layer, but I feel kind of like I'm being bohemian today, and so I'm all about the idea of making this as difficult as possible for myself, apparently. There we go. So I kind of want this medium color in here. It's really not pink. This is too pink. So I feel like we've gotten a little too pink. I'll look for that there. Kind of like somewhere in between. Right, and we're going to kind of go in here. We're going to take some of this black right here. Alright, just cut around everything like this. Alright, we're just trying to get in here. Once I'm in here and I've got kind of this zone going for me here, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to then work this face, which is what we're going to do next. So, in the original drawing, her eyes are kind of across here like this. And so I'm going to, she's got her eyebrows like this. We're just looking at the rough of this. We're not looking at doing much else yet. We're just roughing it in, right? We're just roughing in this picture. So put in her chin and her cheek like so. We're just going to rough in this picture, just trying to get an idea of where everything is placed. Right, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that next here. We're going to go in here. We're just going to... I saw where they were. I can kind of see where they are again if I need to. I'm going to come back through. And now we're going to take some of this gray. That's where we're going to go for this kind of darkish, grayish sort of brown. So what I'm doing here is taking this picker. We're going to go in. We're going to define a little bit of where these things are, right? I'm going to just do this. Like so. I'm not ready to commit to anything yet. Right, so we're just going to put this in. We're not in the, we're having commitment issues at this point, right? So I'm just going to go do this here. Right, and we're just going to do that. We know her nose is going to stick out just a little bit over here, so let's go ahead and declare that. Let's go ahead and claim that area. We're going to claim where her nose is going to sort of protrude out into the area of this blackness over here. I'm going ahead and declare it. Now we're claiming this zone. I actually feel like I may have either gone too low or too high. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here. Well, let's go on ahead and let's give her a little more chin here. We'll work with that chin. We're going to talk about just the slope of her nose. Right, the slope of her nose is coming out here, coming back around. Just a little bit. Right? And it's okay to just keep working it back, work it back, till it all comes in correctly. And maybe she's young. Younger people have rounder cheeks, so we'll give her more cheek. And here she's cheekier. Wonder if that's where the term kind of comes from. Right? We're still kind of working this in here. And we're gonna now we want these eyes to kind of line up across her face, and they're not. So I'm gonna bring this down like so. Also, she's probably going to have an eyelid that sticks out like this, and maybe underneath her eyelid a little like that. So we want to make sure that that's declared as well. There we go. So you see how it just kind of flows along like this is a cylinder? That's what we're going to kind of do here. We're going to keep flowing it along like it's a cylinder. No, she's all sad. Okay, we're going to... There we go, just like that. Going down here a little bit more more still. Right, just kind of. There we go. So that's how that's working. And that's how that's not working over here. That's okay. We'll get it squared away, don't worry. Okay. Now sort of move it out like this. Now we want to look sort of her body, right? I've made this head larger, and now it's looking like her body is too small. So I'm going to go back in with a larger, just a slightly larger brush. I'm going to bring sort of this back. This section right here. And she is like young people tend to do. She's bent over. She's hunched over, trying to do whatever she's doing here. So I've got a lot more room, and I hate to, get rid of Fluffy over here, but I think I'm going to have to get rid of Fluffy, just so I can see where this framing of the body goes. So we'll put Fluffy on a different layer. I'm going to take and just lasso him real quick here. And then we'll cut and paste. And that puts Fluffy on a different layer, right? Now he's still here. We can turn him off, which I think will be helpful, because we're kind of having problems here just trying to see the anatomy. And that's, if you're having problems with the anatomy, just go on ahead and break the layers down. We're using a computer, so the best part about this is that we can talk about this. So, yep, Alexa's not sure, as usual. So we can just do this. Let's go on and break this in. There we go, just like this. There we go. All right. I'm kind of doing this, going along like so. And give some highlight up here. Just kind of indicate where the front of these pants are, right? We're going to do something more dramatic with her skin to match sort of what's going on right here in the picture. So I'm not going to do that yet. Right now we're just trying to kind of get the top half of her jeans to look like the top half of her jeans. And I'm going to come back through here and add her tummy in. Like so. And then we're going to look at her body. We want an arc. We're really looking for something kind of like this, right? An arc back here, like so. That's really what we're looking for. And I'm not getting it because I'm not pushing far enough back with this. Her shirt should come back more. That should go back more. And this should go more like this. Giving more of this arc, right? And I can take this and just trim like that. And now we've kind of got this arc going, which is what I'm really looking for here. It's something more like this. And then she's sitting here, and we'll get kind of a curve from underneath it like that, and across her butt. And now we can kind of open up this zone right through here. And we'll come back and fix that in a second. Thank you, Donald. I don't know why, I'm just not motivated to do work this morning, so we're working on a painting, because painting, I don't really even know what I'm after here. I'm just painting. I'm starting with, good morning. I'm starting with this picture, which I got off of Instagram. And it's G.S.Davis Art. And I don't know, the thing is, the things that Sam does, which are artful, are very lovely. And I really like the way that Sam does art. And I'm enjoying saying that. You can find him on Instagram. Him, her, could be her. At Sam, SAMDOESARTS, Arts. Sam does arts. Could be a him, could be a her. But either way, the art is lovely. And I saw the piece this morning that was kind of operating off of that, and so I'm just kind of working with that here. We're just trying to get in the basics on this. I'm trying to kind of get sort of the idea being that she's kind of sitting here drawing or something, kind of fold the pants in. Her body is turned in, is turning this way under here. So I'm going to kind of try to get that effect going here. Kind of run back like this, across her butt. To make my kitten laugh if he was in the room, but he's not in the room, so I said butt. I said butt on TV too. And give her kind of, she's got workout pants that she's wearing, right? So we're just going to cut this back like so. Get that there. Still need to give a little bit more leg. She's missing some leg there. Legs are a big part of the body. Legs are bigger than I'm giving her credit for. more of her body. There we go, just like that. Goes over across here, sort of head towards, our bodies, our hips, and then they move in. So we're going to have to come across the hip line here at some point, right? So we're doing good now. I'm feeling kind of like, yep, I'm still working on her feet, though. There's nothing, and thank you. Kind of defining a little bit of this here. I feel like in Sam's version, the eyes are tilted. And so while we're still here, I can just literally just rotate these eyes, right? I gotta remember what program we're in. Right, because now I can just take, transform, and we'll just rotate them. Right, kind of do that. And that gives more of an angle anyway, kind of going across the face, more like this. Which I feel like she should be doing anyway. Right, we'll do that. When we come back in, we'll just have to fix the skin here, which is not that hard. Alright, like so. And now we kind of look at it, and it's much more of like an angle going across here. We need to talk about this other eye, right? Because now this eye on the other side really needs to be aimed outward, more like this. And that's what needs to kind of occur, and that's why we're not having it's not working as well as we want it to. So let's bring that brush line down, though, before we come in here and select. We're just going to kind of do this, because it needs to be at an angle, right? And that's what we're kind of, yeah, we got to give her cheekbones here. We're going to select here, we're going to cut across like so, because the nose is coming down across like this. We need to be aware of that. We do this. Much better, but it's not good. You still need to be in line with this. And less like that. So let's do the anatomy check. Whenever we get confused, we should always check our anatomy. So just draw the anatomy out. Don't be afraid. The worst thing that'll happen is we'll just have to redraw this, and that's not a big deal, right? So if we look here, following the lines here, we've got an eye that's going to be like this, and the eye is aimed down because it's looking at her coffee and or looking over here. Whatever's the story, we're looking this way. Right, so we're going to do that. We're going to then follow the line of the nose and just eclipse the eye. Right, we're just following the line of that nose. Right. And that looks a whole lot better, although it's not perfect. We're going to have to be fidgeting with this a little bit. I think part of it might also be her eyebrows, which aren't helping us any. Because this gives us a clue as to what the definition of the face is, right? And so we've got to kind of go back in, and we're just going to have to fidget with these eyebrows until they fit. And I think part of this is that this eyebrow needs to come in like so, because it needs to match with this line, even though this eyebrow's up like so. And going this way, this eyebrow is going to follow the curve in because it's coming in across a zone right along here where the eyebrows come around and they meet in the middle. Sort of like that. And that gives her more dynamics across the face, looks better. I feel like her eye is still huge, but we can work on that. Right, so we're going to go in here with we're still in the skin brush here. We're still going to just take a little bit of this here like this. And go like that. She doesn't need that much eye. There we go. Much better. She could be meditating. Although I do want to kind of add a brush in here at some point in time. I kind of like the idea that she's got a brush going for her, or something like she's just about to put brushworks in. So we're gonna fidget with that in a second here. We'll figure it out. But one of the things we are going to do now is we're going to do color dodge. When we do color dodge, what happens to the skin is it goes lighter like that. It starts to brighten it up, right? So we want to be very, very careful with our color dodge. I'm actually going to bring this down from 80% so that we get just a little bit better like that. And we're going to bring it even lower. Because what we're going to do now, I'm going to lighten up the skin on her face. Like so. And then we're going to come in here and go like so.
across the front of her face. And we're going to stabilize this at some point in time, don't worry. Because I know that right now it's kind of like, wow, that's pretty dramatic. But Color Dodge does a good job of giving me variants that allow me to see where things are, right? So we're going to come across her face like so. And bring this up. So we're going to be able to see what the variation is on the skin, and I'll be able to work back from here. Alright, so we're going to do this. Our entire upper part of this is in the sunlight. So we'll do that. This will give me much more control over these parts of what's going on, these parts of her face. I'm going to leave kind of the underside of her nose alone. In his original picture, she's got her hands right here, which means that the sunlight is hitting her, the back of her hand, and leaving a shadow here. It does. I like meditation, and I do feel like sometimes art is a form of meditation for me. I can get very behind the idea of kind of phasing out while doing work here. I'm going to come around here. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to bring sort of this light here, but we've got to remember that whatever is coming across this light here, it's going to hit right here. So we're going to be ending up with shadows on this side. Alright, I'm going to do that. Come across here. One of the things I'm noticing is the color choices that I've given give her quite a bit of a yellow pale to things, which wasn't really what I wanted to do originally. I wasn't trying to make her yellow, but bringing up the color across here has made her very yellow. Right? And when we move back here, we can see that she's just gotten yellow. And so doing KP, huh? That's when you do your best thinking. On KP duty. I'll have to remember that. We're going to assign Donald KP because he needs some time to think. See, now I'm just messing with you. There we go. There we go. We're just kind of defining some of this stuff here. She's got a thumb kind of coming around here like this, and probably she's going to have, she's holding something, so she could be like this. We'll have to come back around and look at what that means when we get there. We're going to just define a little bit of the front part of this like this, and like this. Alright, coming up on break time here. So I'm going to put the pen down, and we're going to stand up for a minute. We're going to switch back to the main camera. Let's stand up. Ugh. And stretch. Alright. We'll stretch. There we go. Stretch the back. We'll go over here. We'll walk around. Make a walk around this place. I'll look carefully at my son, who thinks that because I can't tell him that he shouldn't be eating his chips, that it's okay for him to eat chips, and get aggravated with him about this, because that's an awful lot of carbs he just consumed while I was on show, so that because he knows that I can't yell at him. So there's that.
Look outside. What a lovely day. Very pretty out here. It's a very pretty day. That's a lovely day. Okay. All right. Come back around and have a seat. And we'll continue back to where we are. All right. So there are a few things that I want to do here. Now that I've done sort of the highlights to highlight in on things, we're going to go back around. First things first. Let's address sort of what's going on with her face here. I'm going to take, and they've changed. Yeah, today and tomorrow is supposed to be really great. They've changed the controls, but I want to flatten out her face a little. I'm going to distort. There we go. I feel like I want it to be turned more this way, although this is giving us a very creepy effect for right now, isn't it? So we're going to come back around, and it's still in color dodge. We want it normal. There we go. Then come back around, just kind of fix this. Because she needs to be facing this way more. I feel like. Right? There we go. Now that I've established sort of this color tone, we're going to work into it. Like I'm going to kind of come back around and just work some of this color tone in. We're just going to darken out some of this because it got a little too bright with that color dodge, but it establishes what I'm looking for in the skin tone that I want to work on, right? I'm going to be able to take back and reclaim some of this if it'll actually attack. There we go. So we can actually just kind of bring this back around a little, and that way we can keep the colors that we've already established sort of here and captured some of this color. Take as bright as it is, right? We want kind of like to establish the architecture around her nose and things like that. So we kind of want to go in here and just fight a little back and forth over this. Like, she's going to have higher cheekbones. We want to fight back and forth over that a little until we've established the planes of the face. All right, we're going to kind of come back around like this. We're going to do the same thing up here on the front of her nose, like so. Right? And we're going to need some on the other side as well, but I think I want to make that brush smaller before we do that. So we're going to come back through here like so. Right? There we go. No, oh, I have updated things. Always worried when something like that happens that it's going to crash out. Yeah. Updates available for Creative Cloud, but you know what? What are you doing? Stop. Stop, Creative Cloud. Stop. And do this. We're just blending at this point in time. Right? We're blending in. We don't need to be this bright. We're going to come around the nose here. And we're just going to shape things in. Right?
bring in a nostril, so to speak, that kind of stuff. Here we go. We're going to start defining also where the lips are in this one. Right, her lips are going to be right through here, like this. I'm going to start defining that. We want to define that area. We're going to take this pink with her lips, and we're going to actually go a little redder on it. We're going to go over here like this. Let's just declare that zone. Right? We're declaring this area. And when I say declare, I kind of mean we're taking the real estate of the picture and saying that we're going to be putting in lips here. Right? This is where the lips are. Right, we're going to just start declaring that zone. So, and this will give us the ability to, maybe I still want to give a little bit more. She's young, so we'll give her a lot more lip. She gives everybody lip, man. She's mean and she gives a lot of lip. No, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's nice. We don't know anything about her. What do we know about this girl? We don't know anything. We really don't. She could be like the sweetest person on the planet for all we know. Okay? And so now that we're here, we're crafting the picture, and we're trying to get sort of the design together. We're trying to kind of we'll spend the majority of our time on the face because that's where people look. Come back through here and just bring this through. We'll sort of take that and go through here like this. So we're just bringing in some of the contours of her face like this, right? We're just kind of, we want half zones is what we want. I'm going to bring up the brush a little so we can kind of get more like this. We're looking sort of more towards the half zones here. These, yeah, she does kind of look Mulan-like, doesn't she? Gotta say, I likes Mulan, man. She's one of my favorite Disney princesses. I have not seen the movie, though, yet. And I'm going to, I just haven't. Mostly because I can't seem to convince the rest of the family to sit down with me just yet. But they're getting there. So, I'm feeling still I've got a problem with this eye. And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah. Are we talking about what was her name? Xi Yuping? I can't remember now. The thing is that this color that I chose, the color dodge brought us into very, very harsh yellow, which wasn't really where I was headed, but it's where we ended up. And I'm not sure whether I'm okay with that or not. I mean, it turned very yellow, much yellower than I mean, this is supposed to be sunlight, so there we go. We'll define out. I haven't seen the new movie. I want to. I really do want to. I've heard not good things about the movie, which is sad. But a lot of it seems like it was I'll give her more chin. When I look at her chin, I'm like, but we don't want to give her too much chin because one line can define everything, as I often say. We give ourselves too much there, and it's going to look like. There we go. There we go. Bring that lip out. And up here, we're going to do the same thing. By definition, I'm having a hard time with getting the brush to go clean through because it's a round brush. So there are a lot of times where I'm going to go out and over and then come back and craft with the black of her hair, right? Right, that's Ji Yu Peng, or I can't remember her name now. It's kind of a bummer, actually, because I liked her too. She was cool. All right, we're just gonna bring in some of this right here. Do the same thing on this side. Just kind of give a little bit of highlight to her hair, right? I'm actually going to take this big painting brush right here. I'm going to bring it down because I kind of like the look that I'm getting back here, which makes it look like her, like we're just, like her hair's out of focus, sort of. Because then I'm going to cut it back a little like this. But I like the way that it looked out of focus back there. Right, because when the brush is rough like this, it looks kind of like it's out of focus. So I'm going to come back around. I'm just going to do that. Right, I'm liking the way that looks. Makes it look out of focus a little. There we go. You see how we're kind of. Once again, though, I'm feeling like her head is much, much, much bigger than her body. So let's adjust that. We were just talking about sword, right? So if we do this, that looks better. Doesn't need to be much, right? And I don't know. Does she look like she's that sad? I don't know if she just looks that sad. I mean, she might be sad. We should ask her. Are you sad? Does seem a little weird. Are we still selected? Yeah, we were still selected. Now let's take a look here. Let's get all this black in and defined. And then we'll take a look to see. Your eyes can deceive you. And so you have to be kind of. There we go. Much better. I don't feel like she's that sad, but I do feel like she needs more hair now. Right? Now she needs more. Going like back there. Hair. 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 It's first thing in the morning, so she might actually like have bedhead going for her. Yeah. She got up in the morning and her hair's kind of a mess. And sort of that kind of thing going for her. I'm not going to disagree with you totally there on this, but okay, so the next thing I'm noticing is her nose is now too low. I've made, after all that work fighting with this nose, it's too low. There we go, like that. Right? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but on whether ladies emotionally cry, I don't know. The way that I sort of perceive. We not deselected again. The way that I perceive people is that they're people, and some people cry a lot. some people don't cry, and that's sort of the nature of people. I don't think it's gender specific, except that in our culture we have sort of established that men don't cry, which I find to be kind of sad. And I think that that's rough on people. So no, she could be writing something really mundane. Dear bills for this week. You know what I mean? Like, I hate my bills. We don't know what she's writing. We haven't even established what she's writing yet. But I can kind of see why you'd think that, looking at the dynamics here of where we've got the light. The light's kind of like this. She could be tearing up, and the tears would kind of roll down those cheeks, which is what it kind of looks like here. I mean, I'm not knocking you, man. I was just like, I don't know. She doesn't feel like she's that upset. I have no idea what she's thinking at this point in time. I'm just going to soften out this along the curves here. She's young enough that we shouldn't be getting that much in her. The hair is kind of cute, though. Like, there we go. That's really what we want. We want this so. The brow is moving in a different direction, coming out to this brow ridge. So we want to make sure we define sort of that brow ridge a little there. So there we go. So I feel like that's coming along really nicely. Let's give her eyes, though, more of sort of this color to work with in here. And it's not that her eyes are blue per se, because they really aren't. They're going to be, but we need to work in this zone here. We're going to need to work from this color combination here. Right, we're going to need to kind of start working from this gray out. And kind of just get a little bit, as just a little bit less. Right, just a little like that. Just a little more like that. Then we can go in here and grab some of this dark brown and then just move her eyes in like so. And her eyes are a little crossed here, but they're going to be lit up by the sun, right? So we want to make sure we snag that, and then we got to get her pupil in here. She must be a teacher because she's got pupils. Do the same thing over here. Her eyes are going to be so dark anyway that it's not going to really matter. But then here's where the real magic comes in. You take a brush like this, bring it down quite a bit. We go to white and just do this. Just kind of in here like this. Go across like that. We take a brush like that, but then we have to paint correctly, right? And that's going to indicate sort of the light that's coming in underneath her lashes. But I've made her eyes really crossed. I hope to goodness she's like concentrating on something like right at her nose, because that's what it looks like there. So we're going to have to go back in. We're going to have to fix that, I think. And I feel like we're way in here, deep into this, and we kind of need to do something more like right there. Just touch that. And then move this out like so. Because she's not looking down at this point in time. She's looking quite a bit over. We'll bring that up. We'll bring this in. Now, let's take her eyelashes, and we'll go out, like so. And no, let's get rid of the cat eye that she's got kind of going on now. There. They're much, much better. Right, so we've defined a lot more of that on the front. Let's move over here. Whoa, we're sliding all over the place, people. Let's not slide. Take some of this skin brush here. I really like this brush that I've gotten from Wallop. They have a this wonderful brush. I'll let this kind of go up and under this part of the... She's got her shoulders are rolled forward, so we're not going to get as much of her shirt up here by the shoulder. Everything's rolled forward for that reason, you know. So we're going to then snag this highlight and do this, and maybe even just a little across the collarbone right there, right? Because that's where that collarbone is. There we go, just like that. And we'll come down the front of her arm the same way. And then bring it back from behind. We'll come up like that and just tuck. Okay. One of the other things we don't have is a lot of definition to the back. Truth is, I actually think that she's probably got reflected light coming from back here somewhere. So we're going to have to take lighting and push from the back. Not a lot, really, but we're going to push a little from the back. So we're going to take this and we're going to bring it up and do the same thing back here. I'm just going to... And this will help define a little bit of what's going on back here. But I feel like I'm not going to get that same color that we're getting on the front side. We're just going to get a different color on the back here. A little bit, just a little bit of body to the back. It's funny because it's the back of the body we're dealing with here. So yeah, good jokes for us. You and me, Donald, we're into that joke thing. Okay, so the shoulder is shaped kind of interestingly. It's down and forward like so. And she's going to end up with sort of a shape like this because we want the underside of this shirt, the opening where the arm comes out, the armhole. It's just a little top, so there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of structure in the top itself. So we're not going to have to worry much about that. I want to soften some of this out a little right here. There we go. And when we come along the underside like this, we're going to bring this down more, like so. these tops just like that. We're going to do that. We're going to calm this a little too here. There we go. Now we're going to we need to come up with an alternate color, but we need to come up with the alternate color from over here. This side has gone very, very yellow, and I don't want yellow on the other side. I want it to be sort of a natural color, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to define the underside like this. We're apparently going to also move the entire thing over. There we go. And then that's going to come along here too on the back. And we're just going to do like that. And that's just giving the back side. And then we'll just give her chin a little bit of that too right here. The light's coming from behind. We'll come back and fix it and make it line up real nice. But for right now, that's what we wanted to do, just get this color in. All right. I'm going to get a smaller brush. I'm going to mix this. All right, I'm going to mix these together. Right here. We're mixing that front color, which is sunlight, and this back color, which is just defining a little bit more of what's going on in the back here. But it's giving us something to kind of argue with in the middle. Letting sort of these two colors mix and blend. You get kind of a little bit of both going on here. We snag sort of this mix color right here. And you can see what this is a technique I actually have been learning watching some of these videos. You see how right through here, right through this part right here, we get part this color and part this color. And that's what I'm going to grab. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to bring that around. Right, and this gives us a nice blend right between these two. And that allows me to kind of make that blending area there. But it's keeping my paintbrush look, which I really am liking. I'm liking this painterly look that I've got going for it. Right? I'm able to sort of keep this looks like it was painted by a paintbrush effect going for it. But I'm also able to kind of bring the color back around because I do want to kind of keep this color. I'm going to do the same thing through here. We get kind of this half color. Right? Kind of right here, like this part right here. And through here as well. Sort of this halfish color. It allows us to get more of the flesh tone kind of coming through here, but the sunlight tone's also kind of hitting, which means that I can kind of do this to indicate, look, there's a shadow here, right? And it's kind of what we want. We want it to look like the sun has kind of come across parts of our body there. We'll define this right through here. Allow us to also kind of do this. We're still kind of touching areas here. Okay, so now we've got like sunlight hitting pieces of the body and kind of bouncing around and stuff like that. I really don't feel like her collarbone's just showing up here. It's just not. There we go. Just like that. We'll come back here and just kind of hit there like that. I like that messy state of hair, by the way, which means that I kind of want to go back here and hit the back part too and do the same thing. Like with this color. Kind of like that, maybe. Maybe that was too much. Give a little bit more drama to the whole thing, right? Make it look a little bit more like I meant to do that. I'll come around here and kind of do the same thing here. Her messy jeans, because I This big painterly brush is great for this stuff. Just gives to that effect that just tapping the brush in here. And take this very, very light gray, which is not light gray, by the way, but gives just a little bit of a back color here, right? We want to indicate that it's not totally dark there. All right. Next thing we're going to do is talk about her brush. She's brushing something. So we look at where people hold brushes and how they hold brushes, and you're going to have sort of a point to her finger here and a point to this. So we're going to take and we're going to right, and we're going to come underneath here. She's holding on to it like this. Right? And that's going to dictate a lot of the shadows that we're going to have across her thumb and things like that. But for right now, we're just going to do this. We're going to have her brush like so. We haven't gotten a piece of paper underneath her yet, but we will. Right? So let's go ahead and let's look at this hand. We haven't defined anything with this hand at all. We have no earthly idea how we're doing here, or what we're doing, or when, or we've got nothing. We don't know anything about this area. I'm going to take this brush, and I'm actually going to go back into this zone. We're going to get a nice bright highlight. We're just going to put it right here. Just like that. And the reason we're going to do that is we really want to see what's going on here. And the same thing on this side. This brush is going to be wet, so it's going to have things like that, right? Although probably not exactly like that. Let's bring that brush down a little bit more. It's going to have something that looks a little bit like this going for it. I actually put a little bit of this bright sunlight right here. And now that we've done that, we can define sort of what's going on inside her hand. Because now we know where this finger is. We know that we're going to have a shadow cast across it like this, across her thumb. There we go. Like that. So, we don't need to do a lot other than to illustrate just sort of where the shape is of this hand. Kind of give it a, because it already now does its job. The picture does its job, right? We already see sort of where we're going with this, although I kind of feel like I need to do a little bit of touch up with this. Kind of grab these middle areas right there. Kind of do this. There we go, kind of like that. And we should get kind of like broken, messed up under here. So let's go ahead and fix this. And bring her hand up. bring it back. Come back around and just kind of fix some of this because it's all blurry. It's all blurry. There we go, just like that. Now we can kind of come in here and just repair some of this. Deadpool 3 movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that I have humor like Ryan Reynolds, but let's be realistic. There we go. So, now that we're dealing with this, we'll cut back on it. We need to make this smaller. Okay. Now I'm intentionally sort of making this rough. Right, okay. Now the other thing I want to do is go through here and just clean this stuff up. Clean it up a little right through here. There we go. We're just going to kind of, there we go, just kind of take some of this and just define it a little. Just like that. There. Now she still has no piece of paper under here. So I think it's time for us to add some parchment or something. I actually think I'm going to take like some of these skin tones. We're just going to add parchment in there. I'm going to take a little bit of the saturation out of it though, so that it's not quite as yellow, but Urete. Then we'll come back around and we'll cut. There we go. And then we're just defining this. Again, we're just kind of laying the real estate down. We know we want a piece of paper here. We know we want it to kind of curl up a little. Give it some artistic bend. Like so. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the underside of it. All right, we're going to take sort of this color here. I'm going to declare that. We can go on ahead and clean this up. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just erase the original brush tip. And come back around and just clean this up. Now the way to straighten this paper up is this way. Come back around like so. There, just like that. I'm just going to cut through like that. Now we need to fix the brush tip, which I don't mind at this point in time going ahead and switching into a comic ink, right? And even a smaller comic ink than this. We got kind of a small comic ink going for it. And I don't mind this at this point in time. I feel like part of this can be that the brush is bending at this tip here. She's in the middle of a character. So, but we can take this now, just craft in like so. There we go. Now she looks like she's writing something. She needs a block, otherwise she's not writing with anything. So let's give her a block. And give her a little block right here for her ink to be in. Check some of this middle color right here like this. There we go. An ink block now, so you can actually pull the ink. Maybe she is. Maybe she's writing a love letter. Who knows? Maybe she's writing her love letter to her cat. The cat that has been removed from one layer and will be returned to this layer at some point in the future. Well, we don't know when, though. Anything could happen. Let's fix some of this. That kind of missing hair right through here. Then get the top of her coffee mug here. And come back around, just take that out right through there. Alright, we'll come back through here. And at some point in time, we're going to have to come up with what's happening back here, right? Take a look at all of these shadows. Like so. And we're going to be kind of coming around here to this part, right? Like this, right? Like so, and then in the front of her fist there. But the truth is, it'll all fade off past here. And she might have a touch up there, but not really. There. Where's all that? Kind of catch some of this. The shape up here is what we're after. We don't need to actually put all of this detail in. It doesn't really matter, right? She's got a mug. We all can read that it's a mug. We all see that it's a mug. So we don't need to worry too much about putting all the detail in. We just give enough implication that you can grasp. You know, we know that there is sort of a handle here like that, right? You sort of pick sort of like this, and just give it a feeling that something has happened here. But it doesn't need to be that much, right? So she's just drafting here. Now we'll put in the cat. Let's start working on this cat real quick, because we've actually done pretty cool here. The interesting thing, maybe the cat's not in it right now. Maybe that's just one step too far. That's just one step too far. Okay, let's take this and drop its color down to here. I'm going to make sure that this table has legs. Otherwise, it doesn't actually hold up. It falls over. Or it's just a two-dimensional object, and that's even weirder, right? So let's go ahead and put the legs of this guy in. It doesn't have to be a big table. And she's clearly sitting on the floor over here. So but we do have to make sure it's past her body. Doesn't really matter at this point in time whether that end. There we go. We have to make sure it's past her body because it's got to be standing past her dynamically. Yeah, I've noticed that we haven't had George all day, and I just bumped my microphone. I'm so sorry, guys. We haven't had George come in today. No George attacks. Not sure what the story is with George. He was in here earlier this morning, but then, you know, as the whim of cats are, he wandered out and vanished. Okay, So, kind of happy with where that all is. This is only a 2-hour painting, so we're not going to have the luxury of doing a whole lot to it. But over here, I'm looking at this, the original painting. There seems to be sort of this color. Sort of curtains on this side, so I'm going to put those in real quick. Use that big brush. That's a good brush for this. Alright, we're just putting this in the back. So let me get some feeling that there is a light over here. But, oh man, you're not helping me any. Photoshop. Really not helping me here. You know, sort of a feeling that there's a light over here. Like a window that she's in front of. Which would explain a lot of this. Right, so we're going to put sort of this here. And go a little darker on the other side here. Okay. Drop this down. Right, there's kind of curtains that are kind of hanging out here, right? And we're just kind of doing this number, just kind of define stuff over here. And this gives a dark zone over here that helps offset sort of the light coming from the window. So that's really what we're kind of after on this, just enough to kind of give an idea of what's going on. I'll actually come back in with this skin brush here and just kind of touch it up. Right, we're going to snag some of this middle here. Just enough to kind of give us some depth and degree to this. There we go. Okay. A window, a lamp. We got kind of that kind of thing going for us. Looking at the original picture, I've got nothing over here that shows me what's going on. So, I still kind of feel like no matter which way I do this, this does not come out looking like I want it to, and it's kind of a bummer. I do like the curtains being around her hand there. It makes the hand pop out, and so that's really nice because then you can really see that brush, and it makes us see that brush really well. So moving this in like that helps a lot. That's a step too far right there. But I don't like that. So we're going to bring that back in like that. And that gives depth to that whole area right there. So I'm actually going to also take a very dark part and just go through here like this. Like there may be a window right here, but this part is dark, and so is under here. Right, we're going to kind of do this. Under the table is not, and we don't want it to be quite that dramatic though, do we? No, we don't. Take this big brush. Hello. We're on eraser. That's part of the reason why you're not getting anywhere. Big brush. Come back in here. There we go. Just like that. Okay. We probably want some kind of carpet under her too. I like this blue that we've got kind of going for us here, but I don't know if it will work very well. I guess it doesn't work bad. It's not bad at all. There we go. We'll just put that under here. And so she has something she's sitting on, so that's not... There we go. The room has something, right? And the good news is this will allow us to take just one of these colors like this and just put it underneath her. We don't want to do too much on that because we actually do want it to be clear that this isn't her pants, right? So we're going to change the hue over here. I'm going to change it over into more purple, like that. That way when we go under here, it doesn't look like her pants. And once again, we'll come back in with this brush and just kind of smooth it out. There. You see how we get these half tones right here? We can take those and blur those out more. And we get a half tone there. Take that and come back in. Take this half tone. And that's how we blend out, so that it doesn't make it look like her shadow is right on top of things here. There we go. There. Now if we were to just real quickly take a new layer, what we can actually do here is go like this. We take a white and go like through here like this, and then right here, 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 right? We do that, and then we say filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we can Gaussian blur it out until it's really blurry, like so. Whoa, that's too blurry. Right? And then we say overlay. We give ourselves sort of a glow going off of the things that she's dealing with here, like all of the places where the sun really is on her, and bring it back to about 57% like that. I also can take, at this point in time, and maybe take a little bit of like orange, and Wallop gave me a ton of really useful like Firefly-esque tools. Let's go down here and take a look at some of these brushes that are way down here. There's some wild brushes that he's got in here, which I think are great. Right, I'm just going to look for some of his weirder tools. Some of these dynamics tools down here are great. And you take some of this, and it's just, that's not what we want, but some of these are great tools. What I need are those circles. Where are my circles? Dots. Right? These dots, then, I can take and make really large and undo. Let's get back out here onto something sort of thisy. Right? Undo. Undo. We're getting there. Some of these things down here. No, we're in the desaturates. That's not what we want. Scattery noise. I'm not getting the noise that I thought I'd get out of it, but that's okay. We select again? What's going on? Because now none of these pens are working. Oh, I'm on smudge. I'm like, why aren't these working? Somewhere we switched to smudge. I don't want smudge. Oh. See, I'm not allowed to have the B dots. Okay, that's not what I wanted. But it is funny. Round, undo. Why are these all smudge pens? That's kind of aggravating. Well, I'll see you tomorrow as well. I think we're going to call it a day on this one. It is a day. But it's time for lunch. And lunch is important. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, Donald. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow for Watercolor Wednesday. And in the meantime, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye. Computer, good night.